Greetings, Tony from Old River Hardgoods again. Well, the music you're listening to is Walking Around, my first CD, Forgotten Walls. And as always, links to the full version of the song, as well as the video I made of it, are down there in the description. And today's video, as the title says, about old tool resurrections and restorations. We're going to touch on a variety of different tools, including molding planes, going back to that. Did a video on those early on. A hand vise, a hammer, slick, and whatever else I can dig out, because this is kind of a clean out the archives video. But there's lots of good information, lots of interesting information, and I'm going to drop a flea market segment at the end, since I haven't been doing many of those of late. So, grab a bucket of popcorn, your favorite beverage, and sit back and enjoy the show. Okay, these are the planes I'm going to be talking about today. First one is a Parry, who was a London tool dealer in business from 1938 until 1951 at that address shown on the plane. Yes, you could still buy molding planes over in England pretty much up till a little bit after the end of World War II. That is a 3/8 inch Taurus bead. The next one is kind of unusual. It's a 1 1/16 inch Taurus bead, but it's not beech, so I'm not sure what the wood is, and well, we'll discover more when I start cleaning it. The next one is a Kimberly & Sons. It's marked 3/8, but it's marked 5/8, but it's actually a 3/8 inch sash ovalo plane. They were Birmingham makers who worked at this address from 1876 until 1899. Next one is an unmarked 5/8 inch sash ovalo, but it's definitely English. Next one is a George H. Buck, who was a London plane maker and tool dealer. Worked at this address from 1869 until 1909. This is a 9/16 inch sash ovalo plane. And last is a John Mosley & Son. They were also London-based plane makers and dealers, one of the more common makers. They were at this particular address from 1880 until 1899, as far as the records go. And this is a 1 inch sash ovalo plane. And I'll go more into detail on them as I start working on them. And here we have a really nice 18th century blacksmith forged iron brace. Needs a little cleanup, which I'm going to do. But see the chuck area here. Pad's got some rust on the underside. And of course the pad area has also got a little bit of patina going. But these tools do not show up very often. Well, this is the start of the hand vise restoration. As you can see, it's pretty crusty. Don't see a maker's mark on it just yet. The jaws are 2 1/8 inches across. First thing's going to see, I know the screw turns. The question is if I can get it out of there because it makes it easier to work on this guy. So let's see how that goes. And I am working on paper here because of the amount of rust, but I did get the screw out. Doesn't look too bad, that looks okay. So now it's off to the Wheel of Fame and Fortune. Well, here's a William Beatty of Chester, PA, Philadelphia area. Slick I recently picked up. I did some scratching there on the mark so you can see it a little better. And overall, it's not too bad. It's got a lot of light rust. Hopefully that back will clean up good. Socket has some carnage on it that I already took down. Still going to need a little more filing and sanding. You can see the forge welds for the seam there, but it's not cracked. And if you hear the beeping in the background, well, that's the burro out here with their Tonka toy cleaning snow. But anyways, I'm doing some more work on this guy. Yeah, something else just jumped off the bench. It happens. And see where we go with it. Okay, the first find I'm starting with is the Parry & Son 1/4 inch Taurus side bead. Wedge out. Alright, this one's pretty good. I won't have to do too much with that. This one does have some worm damage, so I'm going to have to get a little aggressive and make sure everything's dead with that. Don't want those buggers crawling back out again. Wiping it off. Toe still needs a little bit there. It's not too bad. And then while I'm letting that settle down, I'm going to go to this 1 1/16 inch Taurus bead. This one isn't signed. It's got some kind of stain on it. Staining. Maybe that's just the wood. down. Wedge is definitely oak, so that's see a lot with English planes. Usually an American one, somewhat all over the place, one with an oak one, but doesn't detract from the plane since it's not a signed one. Junk on there. Right. Now they're ready for the waxing. Alright, here it is pretty much cleaned up. Needs just a little more detailing. This is an H. Boker, German maker. Screws not too bad. That's okay. Joint's good. Lots of spring to it. I got one sitting out there on the bench. The joints rusted up fast, and all the penetrating oil in the world has not helped it move. It does have some pit and stuff on it. And, yeah, you know, we didn't go for perfect. We just went for functional more on this guy. So, anyways, I'm going to go give it a wipe down with the wax, because when you get stuff this rusted, chances are good it's going to want to re-rust. So I want to seal it up and oil it up a bit, and then we'll take one final look at it. Well, here it is after having done some sanding on it. Fixing to run it over to the wheel, but it's got some scratches, got some dings. Back's got some light pitting up here. We'll see how that works out. Some more back down in here, and hey, you know, it is what it is, but I think we're going to be able to save this guy. But I guess we shall see. Another tool that I had recently picked up was this 18-inch LS Starrett firm joint outside caliber, model number 26. And I did some cleaning on it. It was kind of rusty and what have you. And there's some patina, there's some frosting, a few pitted spots, some dings up here along the joint. But you know, you're in a username, of course, but I sure don't see too many of these around in what you would call minty condition. And brand new, they sell for about 125 bucks, and I sure as heck ain't gonna be asking that much for this one. So if you need to measure something big, you know, this is the one to have. And I'm working some of the wax down into the wormholes just to make sure that those little buggers are dead. Probably are, but no sense in tempting fate. have to wipe these down a second time, but this is the start. I'm going to strip on the top there. Whatever this wood is, it's really dense. Down in the bedding area a little bit, just to clean that up. And all I got to do is clean up the irons a little bit, and we're ready to go. And here we have the finished product. Now with a tool like this, the goal of a restoration isn't to make it back, take it back to shiny, which I doubt this guy ever was. It was just to take off some of the, like I said, currently acquired patina, and make it just look more like it would have been when it was actually in use. You can see the graining of the wrought iron on it. The chuck end, clean it up a little bit. Of course, you need the right size bits for it. Inside the pad, still has some rust. This section here looks like it's copper. I didn't push the cleaning on that too hard, but still kind of neat. The pad does have some sharp edges. I'm sure this guy's been dropped more than once, and normally I would take a file to those or get a little more aggressive about cleaning them, but since I didn't want to get too aggressive with that, I left them as is. Here's the back of the pad. But it's my opinion, this is a very, very, very nice brace, very nice tool. Kind of tool used to sell for $200 plus, but these days it's going to be interesting. And here we have the finished product. It darkens up just a little when I hit wax on it, but like I said, I'd rather have that than have the thing re-rust on me. Put a little oil on the screw, a little oil down in the joint, just to be sure. Jaws are fairly good. They close up tight. A little chipping, a little roughness, but yeah. See how old this guy is. Now, a story about Booker hand vises. There used to be a guy on eBay. He might still be there. And he was one of these guys that anything he thought he could make big bucks on, he would exaggerate. And one of the things he used to run with was the Revolutionary War Minuteman hand vise. Okay? Now, the thought was that every guy who fought in the Revolutionary War carried a hand vise with him to work on his firearm with, which nothing could be farther from the truth. But this guy was pushing that up and down, and one day he had a Boker up there, 18th century Revolutionary War, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, you know, I hate to break it to you, pal, but Boker was founded in 1829, well past the ending date, 50 years past the end of the Revolutionary War. Well, it's the same style they use, he said. He never changed the listing on it. And he's also one of those guys that was flagging run-of-the-mill gimlets as quote-unquote rare Civil War cannon-fused gimlets. One point I think I had about 20 of them here. I figured at $70 a pop I could take a whole month off if I sold all of them, which I didn't do. But anyways, that's my story on hand vises and on Boker and some eBay sellers. So anyways,
good collectible and a good working tool for sure.
Well, here it is after the first trip to the wheel. See things a little better. What's going on with this guy? This top's going to take some work. It's got some scratches, cut marks, things marked there. Socket's definitely going to need some more filing and what have you, but yeah, I've seen worse. Back still's got some rust in here and some stuff here. My wheel really doesn't take too much in the way of heavy rust off. It just kind of knocks it down. So that I'm going to have to hit with the old sandy paper. So let's give that a whirl. One of the tools I picked up on my recent trip to Jacktown was this small hand-forged cross-peen hammer. Kind of neat. Hammerhead. Somebody painted it, but it looks to be forged. Square punched die on it, so that should clean up okay. Don't know how the handle is going to survive the process. And I did some restoration on it. Weighs about 7 ounces total, so I'm guessing the head is about 6.5 because the handle don't weigh much. And it was heavily painted and rusted. And it didn't come out great, but, you know, I did spend a fair amount of time getting it to this shape. Base isn't too bad, just a little bit of funky on it. And same goes for the peen. I was able to save the handle. It is sitting at a little bit of an angle, but that's just the way that the eye was punched. And needless to say, techniques used, well, I put some stripper to the paint on the head, got that off for the most part, and buzzed it down. Did a couple passes with the sandpaper and buzzing it down again, and short of dipping it in something, it's not going to get much better. The handle, I trimmed off a little bit that was sticking out of the top. Put a slot in for a wedge, made a new wedge, which is just an old piece of something I had around. Split down the size, trimmed it with my pocket knife, and used a little sandpaper to sharpen the edge, and in the hole it went. So, should be good as long as you don't try pounding framing nails with it, but it's a neat little hammer. Definitely don't see too many of these like this around anymore. Came back, cleaned up the irons a little. I'll wipe these down a second time just to make sure they're all nice and pretty. Still don't know what kind of wood that is. That might be olive wood. I mean, it's definitely got that greenish color to it. Nothing that I've ever seen before. The iron for this plane isn't tapered. Obviously user made. It's got some patina, but some scuffing mostly. It's not too bad. Wedge back in. And other than a sharpening, that guy's ready to go. And then back to this one again. Another wipe down. I will be keeping an eye on this one just to make sure that the worms are properly deceased. But usually I don't see them come back. They know better. And this iron looks like somebody went and, well, I can't tell, maybe that's how it was made. It's got some scuffing on the tang, but again, hard to say. That wedge is just sticking just a little. So we grab a chisel. Rape it a little. Might be warped just a touch. Yeah, it is warped a little at the tip. There it goes. Yeah, it didn't take much. And there they are, ready to go. We'll get to the next pair in a minute. Well, here we have the finished product. I gave it one more really hard sanding. Another trip to the wheel, wiped it down with my wax mixture, and she's ready to go. Here's the top. Actually didn't come out too bad at all. I mean, there's some dings, cut marks, a little pitting or chip in there from the dinging on the side. That's just from where the socket was formed. J. Beatty and Son, nice clean mark. Socket, still got a little character to it, but not bad, and it's mostly there, so I ain't gonna worry about that. And the back actually cleaned up really well, a lot better than I thought it was going to. Dig it in and bearing down. Oh, a couple small spots of pitting, a little light stuff there. That's where the steel is. So as you can see, there's a whole lot of metal there. And, you know, this came out pretty darn good. I mean, if somebody wants them buffed up, polished up, at least all the heavy lifting's been done, but well, we'll see how many months it takes to sell this one. Well, Sunday was another kind of cool morning at the flea market, being 45 degrees Fahrenheit when I got there. Cool enough for me to whip out the gloves. And well, the day started off on the slow side, compounded by the fact that my flashlight batteries died and I didn't have any spares in the truck, which I usually have a bunch of. But we managed to make do since there wasn't much to be seen till it got daylight. And when it did get daylight, well, there was a lot to be seen. So let's take a look. I got this Collins Voyager style axe. Handles pretty well basket case, so that's going to come off. But overall, it's not too bad a shape. Funky little small tapered reamer. It's got some wear on the edges, but and some patina obviously, but that's the right handle for it. A couple of brace bits. Might be Russell Jennings, I don't know. They're just orphans. I buy spares when I find them, but they're not too badly messed up in case I need one. This is a Thomas Ibbotson 1/2-inch paring chisel, English. It needs a little cleaning. This is a really nice. The WJ's William Johnson of Newark, maple spoke shave, plated. I mean, blade needs just a couple of dots of patina taken off of it, but this guy's like unused. Another one that looks unused, I'm probably not going to clean this one either, is a Stanley 71 mortising gauge. Mortising working gauge, whatever. I mean, yeah, it's got just the right patina on it, and why mess with a good thing, right? Speaking of patina, this is kind of an unusual multi-inside outside divider type caliper. That's going to take some work, but well, we'll see. Don't know if there's a name on there. I didn't see it. This is a 1929 patent brass button polishing shield. Piece moves over in that. It's got some crud to it, but these are kind of neat. These were used by military and police and anybody with copious amounts of brass buttons on their uniforms. Oh, let's move on. Rosewood mortising gauge. Points are good. Screw works. Needs a little bit of TLC, but that'll come back nice. I think it's rosewood. And it might be mahogany. Guess we won't know until I get the crud off of it. Something you don't see every day, and this is a Miller Falls depth gauge for brace bits. And you see the Stanley ones from time to time, but this is the first Miller Falls one that I can recall coming across. Really nice joiner's mallet. I mean, this one does not look like it was used. The tear out there, but just a wee bit of patina. That one's not going to take much to bring back, right? Starrett scraper. Still got a bunch of the finish and has the top handle, which is usually those things got lost in the toolbox. Another one of these ratcheting T-auger handles. It's kind of locked up in there. I'm going to have to spray with the oil on that. I never did get around to clean up the other one. Somebody had asked me about it and just been too freaking busy. So, yeah, I know. I sell stuff and people ask about it. But, I know where the guy is, so it ain't going anywhere. And finally, to John Bell, Plains. Bell was a well-known Philadelphia maker. Got a single box center bead. I didn't see a size on it. Yeah, we'll figure that out. About 3/8 or so. And a sash plane. Also boxed. It almost looks like lignin boxing in there, which they were known to do. And, not too bad. I know the screws, at least these nuts work. I didn't try the other screws yet. And somebody did put a spacer in there, but that's why they made them adjustable. So you can make them slightly bigger. So, anyways, tell you what, for a cold Sunday morning, it sure ain't bad. And that's all for this one, folks. I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed my little presentation. And as of the date this thing is going live, I'm kicking off year number 71. And I gotta say, most mornings I don't feel a day over 91, but you will have this. But I'm hoping to be around for a little bit longer to keep on doing all this fun old tool stuff. So anyways, if you like what you're seeing, please hit that subscribe button to be notified when new videos are posted. And as always, thanks for watching, and bye.